Hey everyone, so today we're covering angles, coterminal angles, and reference angles. And the first thing you want to know is the makeup of an angle in the coordinate plane. So you first start off with your initial side, always beginning on the positive x-axis, and then your terminal side can end anywhere on either axes or in any of the quadrants. And that space in between is going to represent our angle theta. So let's say we're in this situation where we want to graph something that's positive 75 degrees. So by default, we always rotate counterclockwise. If it's a negative degree angle, it means go in the opposite direction or go in the clockwise direction. So we'll cover both soon. So let's start off with graphing 75 degrees. So if we're going to draw our initial side, and also this is called the standard position meaning the initial side starts in the positive and the terminal side ends anywhere else. So we're going to start off in our standard position where the initial is on the positive x, and 75 degrees needs to be in one of these quadrants. Now a full circle is 360, and because we have 4 quadrants, if we divide 360 by 4, that means each quadrant should measure up to 90 degrees. So if we start off here as our 0 degree, travel to here, well, that's a 90 degree turn. Travel another 90, that's a 180 degree turn. Travel another 90, that's a 270 degree turn. Travel back here, that's a 360 degree turn. So then we made a full circle. So since our degree measure is positive 75, we're going to end up somewhere in between here. So I'll just try and graph the terminal side close to the 90 degree position here, and now we have our angle. Okay, let's do negative 110. So because we're going clockwise this time, from here to here it's 90, from here to here it's 180. That means 110, negative 110 should be in this general area. So I'm just going to start off with my initial side and end somewhere here. Since this is a sketch, it doesn't have to be too accurate, but you just want to know where your angles begin and end. Okay, so here we have how to draw like the basic angles if we're told which degrees to draw. Now let's go to coterminal angles. So coterminal angles are angles that share the same terminal side, and the question is how to get them. So what you want to do is you want to make a full revolution back to where you started. So we can either make a full revolution going counterclockwise or going clockwise. So if we go counterclockwise, that's plus 360, and if we go clockwise, that's minus 360. So if we make a full revolution in this direction, in the counterclockwise direction, our coterminal angle is 75 plus 360, which is 435 degrees. That's a coterminal angle. If we decide to go in a clockwise direction, this way, then that's 75 minus 360. That ends up being negative 285 degrees. And that's a coterminal angle. So two coterminal angles for 75 degrees is 435 and negative 285. And what you can do to find more coterminal angles is you can keep adding 360s or subtracting 360s infinitely pretty much to get different values of coterminal angles. Same thing here. We can do negative 110 plus 360 or minus 360 to find its coterminal angle. Last but not least, let's go to reference angle. So a reference angle is some acute angle that's made between the terminal side and the x-axis. So let's look at the first example. So it's 75 degrees is already acute, so the reference angle of 75 degrees is just 75 degrees. There's no change here. But now let's look at negative 110. So the reference angle is this space between this terminal side and this part of the x-axis, and you're trying to figure out what that leftover amount is. So since you know a turn from here is 90 and a turn from here is 180, if we do 180 minus 110, we're going to figure out what the reference angle is, which ends up being 70 degrees. So reference angle 210 is 70 degrees. And you want to keep in mind that reference angles are always positive. So you don't need to worry about keeping track of the negative signs or whatnot. So let's just do a random example. Let's say I wanted to graph, let's say 210 degrees, right? So if I do my starting position, my standard position here, I know we have 90, 180, 270 is here, so 210 should be somewhere over here. we're going to have our sketch of the graph here. That's 210 degrees. Now, what's the coterminal angle? Well, if I do 210 plus 360, I'll get a value. If I do 210 minus 360, I'll get a value. And, I can keep adding or subtracting 360s to get my coterminal angle. So if I add 360, just go around into back here, that's going to be 570 degrees. Okay, now last but not least, let's find the reference angle. So the reference angle, let's see, is going to be that leftover amount. So I know that here is 90, here is 180, here would have been 270, but I care about the distance between this terminal side and the x-axis. So if I do 180 minus 210, or I'm sorry, if I do 210 minus 180 because I want to get a positive reference angle, then that's 30 degrees. And then I'm pretty much done. So this is all you want to keep in mind. You want to keep in mind that your initial side should always start on the x-axis. Your coterminal angles are always plus or minus 360s, and your reference angles are going to be positive and the difference between the terminal side and the degree of the x-axis. And you're pretty much done. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, like and subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye.